Yeah, you said it there. Flopinski, the #1 seed out of qualifiers, top scoring. That is 6 maps out of 10, which were played in qualifiers. Let me just double check that real quick. Yeah, top scoring 6 of the 10 maps that were played in qualifiers, with almost the top score on everything else. I think they were like second on all of the maps that they didn't top score, which is somewhat absurd. There's a couple maps where they weren't second, but yeah, just ridiculous. It's a team filled with mainstay tournament names. Monkey Donkey, their manager, with Enri, Takedo, Intercambing, Malashevsky, Nineric, and Gnahus. You have ridiculous all-rounders like Enri, Takedo, Malashevsky, Intercambing. Even Gnahus now has become much more of an all-rounder than he used to be. Obviously, the speed specialist and hard rock specialist Nineric on this roster to fill in where other players are not super comfortable. And then for all G8 bros, the effectively 6 of the 8 Chinese OWC players for Team China this year. Lolol235, also known as David, Crystal, Lolol233, also known as Milk Tea, Lolol234, also known as Kurumi, My Angel Anzu, and Joseph Joestar. I'm not referring to the Lolos by their Lolol names, all right? Just like the MX 10,000 gang, we're referring to them by their previous names. So I think we still have exclamation point Lolol in chat. Let me test that real quick.
Yeah, if that is that, do it.
Don't.
We need to. Okay. Again. Yeah, we need to add a code for that because us casters, we've known these players too long for us to mention them by their numbers. We're just not doing that.
Fun fact, Joseph Joestar is actually my favorite JoJo from the series. So props to Joseph Joestar for good taste. Real quick,
you're named after another JoJo character. How does that work?
I am. He's my favorite JoJo. That's different.
Sorry. I'm not hip with the JoJo Bizarre Adventures thing.
Close enough though. Team China, this team is effectively Team China OWC. They have incredible hard rock players, incredible hard rock aim control and aim consistency players. And they're also very good on Nomad. But where they lack is speed and hidden. They can play hidden to some extent, and they can play speed to some extent. But with a roster on the other side, like Flopinski, with players like Enri, Takedo, Malashevsky, Gnahus, for example, on hidden, or Enri, Takedo, Gnahus, Intercambing, Nineric on double time, you bet your ass they're banning it out, right? Like there's no contest on those sorts of maps whatsoever. So what you're expecting in this matchup is for Flopinski to ban out some hard rock, for all G8 bros to ban out either hidden or DT, whatever they're feeling less comfortable with, and for Flopinski to abuse whatever remains, and all G8 bros to contest on lots of the hard rock and nomad picks in these pools. And that's really how I expect this match to play out. Apparently, we are getting word Flopinski has... actually, I'll wait until both of those strikes are in before saying them out loud, just in case anybody is watching the stream. So, but yeah, I mean, if you're just looking at the pools, if you're looking at the pools overall, Pool A is very, very focused on aim control overall. Pool B is a little bit more focused on mechanics and speed. And Pool C is kind of a middle ground between the two of them. So I think if anything, if you're all G8 bros, you're probably going to want to ban out the raw mechanics pool against Flopinski. I know that's weird because there's a lot of really good hidden reading and gimmick players on their team, but like you don't really want to play multiple speed mechanics maps and leave that kind of pool open for Flopinski, right? So I kind of expect them to ban out Pool B. And for the side of Flopinski, they already banned out Pool A, which I think is a good ban on the pool. Again, lots of really good aim control players on the side of all G8 bros, like Milk Tea, for example, on Nomad. So we are going to be getting Pool C once again to start us out.
Yeah, this Pool C is a little bit more balanced, but granted, there are still a few maps to look out for here. Further protection picks for all G8 bros. You do have a few potential options here. No mod 4, though, is going to be what's protected here. The kind of AR7 reading gimmick with lots of perfect stacks and overlaps. Very, very reading heavy. So this isn't hidden, granted, but still gimmick and reading heavy. So FLOPINSKI, I think, still have a good shot on this no mod 4. So it's a bit of a bold protect. I would have expected a map to go here, maybe Hard Rock 1 or Hard Rock 2. Much more potential here for them to do well, especially Hard Rock 1. Very, very comfortable standard Hard Rock 1 consistency. Something that all G8 could very much do well on. But for FLOPINSKI, it's hidden too.
Yeah,
and I'm not surprised one bit.
Like, I'm looking at this no mod 4 protect from all G8 bros, and I'm making the same face as the girl in the background of the map because I'm extremely confused. We just spent a bunch of time talking about how so many of the members on FLOPINSKI are really, really good low approach rate reading players. Enri, Taquito, Malashevsky, low approach rate. Anyone?
When you know FLOPINSKI, join them in both protecting reading. That's when you know you might have messed up. Like, I'm trying to sugarcoat this as much as I can.
I ain't sugarcoating shit. I don't know what that protects about. We'll see if their members have like memorized the map or something. That's certainly possible. It's a 5-star. Like, it's the lowest star rating map in all of the pools this round. It's certainly possible that they memorized it and that they're completely fine on it and that they're going to show us up. In which case, my concern is completely unwarranted. But on paper, this looks really weird from the Chinese squad. I really expected them to protect one of the Hard Rocks, and I really expect this to be like a Hard Rock 2 ban from FLOPINSKI on this
What?
pool.
Wait, are they flipped? Are they flipped?
Are they flipped right now?
But even then, why would you protect hidden 2? Hold on, this is really confusing.
No, okay, I think that's the Hard Rock 2 ban for FLOPINSKI, and it got accidentally applied to the bottom row.
Okay.
Which I think is a very smart ban from FLOPINSKI if they do decide to go through with it. And yes, it is the Hard Rock 2 ban. Milk Tea in particular on a map like that, Milk Tea and Crystal, would be disgusting. So you don't want to let that through. And FLOPINSKI will get the first pick. I would not be surprised to see it be just the low approach rate hidden. Also, wouldn't be surprised to see something like the hidden 1, for example. Swing rhythms, really uncomfortable angles on a lot of stuff. But it is just going to be their protect as the first pick.
Hidden 2 coming straight out the bat here for FLOPINSKI. And if this is extremely one-sided, which I'm sure both of us are predicting it probably will be,
I'm kind of expecting it to be 8-0 again. I'm not gonna lie.
This no mod 4 protection is looking dodgy. I mean, I don't know why you wouldn't want to protect the Hard Rocks. You do still have some decently competent reading players that are potential for a good performance here, like David and Milk Tea. I think those two are probably most likely to perform the best for all G8 bros. But when you compare that to a team like FLOPINSKI, who literally have the biggest super team I think I've ever seen, maybe second to Titan Hollow, potentially, but not even that. It's a scary prospect, and this no mod 4 protection is very strange. I don't know why they've gone for it, but this hidden 2 could be an omen for what could happen in the future, Dio, if this no mod 4 gets played later on. Here we go. This hidden 2, extremely strange and extremely uncomfortable. 4 minutes long, AR 8.8, 220 BPM, sorry, not 222, 220 BPM hidden reading, very density focused and very awkward in its aim control. It's quite dense, but on top of that, the difficulty just ramps up overall massively in the second half. So that's where we're going to see the most amount of brace and a potential clutch if somebody can hold on to the combo. But looking at the map here, an early drop from Milk Tea is going to give FLOPINSKI that early advantage. But that's all that we're seeing so far going into the slowdown section. But the Kia is coming up very, very soon, and that's where we could see something change.
This is still good right now for all G8 bros. Still holding on to 3 out of 4 full combos. There goes David. There goes Kurumi as I say that. Just my Angel Anzu now with the combo intact, and there they go as well. Nahus is going to trade it out with the members of all G8 bros, but it's still 3 full combos intact at the moment for FLOPINSKI. Enri intercamping and Malashevsky holding strong right now. And, you know, we talked about Taquito, for example, for low approach rate reading. This map is AR 8.8, so not the AR 8 that you would usually see in a low approach rate reading slot, but still low enough approach rate to make it extremely awkward. And the fact that intercamping is here instead of Takedo just goes to show the depth of roster for FLOPINSKI, that they have 5 players who can play this well, and they can just trade them out at will, basically, compared to, well, not really all that many players for all G8 Bros looking super comfortable on this at the moment. Milk Tea has good accuracy, My Angel Anzu has good accuracy, but neither of them can keep the combo. And there they go once again, and there's the 3 full combos still holding for FLOPINSKI. There goes intercamping finally, but I mean,
intercamping finally drops, but that's not really a big issue here. Malashevsky is going to join him in that combo, but it's all down to Henry holding onto this FC. But regardless, I mean, so much damage has already been done with this ginormous combo in this first half. Big difficulty ram up, and Henry hits that entire thing. Brilliant, brilliant stuff from this Filipino star man. And for all G8 Bros, it's just looking too dire. There's no big combo. Biggest combo from Karumi being 150. Really is nothing you can really work off of. But let's see if Henry can hold on to this, Dio, because we're going into a massive difficulty spike. Here we go. Big jumps here, which could lead to a ton of chain misses, but Henry looking good, hits the entire thing. He may drop at the ending after that section, but still a great performance from the guy nonetheless. Malashevsky has his back with the leading combo in the lobby now to back him up and secure this victory. It was still going to be extremely one-sided, Dio, but you can't help but still be impressed by that performance from Henry. 600k on a map like this and 570k from Malashevsky is no slouch at all. And all G8 Bros just completely struggling here, not able to get anything on the board, just barely scraping over 1 million compared to FLOPINSKI, where they outshine them by 950,000 score. An incredibly dominant first map here for FLOPINSKI.
Yeah, Henry +1 is a 2v4 from FLOPINSKI. Henry and one more combo is or sorry, now all G8 Bros are they've gotten their score up a little bit too high for that to be true now. But Henry Malashevsky is a 2v4, so not too much changing there. It's ridiculously dominant first pick for FLOPINSKI, kind of what we expect from the Hidden 2, honestly. Again, we were talking before this match started. All G8 Bros are not really a hidden team at all. China OWC is known for its prowess on hard rock and hard rock aim control in particular. So for them to be matched up against FLOPINSKI on low approach rate hidden reading is not the move, I will say. Not the move.
No.
So, unfortunately, that first pick not going their way, but kind of expected result.
Yeah, I'll tell you one thing though, Dio. There could be one reason they went for the No Mod 4. This is a Chinese song with Chinese lyrics. And I believe that this is the only Chinese song play in the poll. So we could see a national buff here for G8 Bros. That's the only reason now that I see them picking into this. And they are going to go into their protected pick here of No Mod 4. We already talked about this, Dio. On paper, this does not look like a map we see this team doing well on. But I think one thing is for sure, they know themselves more than anyone. So there might be an alternate reason behind this, other than the national buff. So
is it the national buff, or is it like Japan OWC in 2021, where knowing the lyrics made them not want to play the song? I think it was like No Mod 5 in round of 16 or something. The song was in Japanese, and it was so terrible that nobody on Team Japan wanted to play the song. So we'll see what kind of song it is on this one.
That's the torture of being Japanese, right? You have to hear the lyrics actively in the songs, and if they're bad, then it's torture, right? But it seems like all G8 Bros think differently about this map, so maybe there's a chance. But on paper, FLOPINSKI are looking 10 times more dominant on this. Like, really, this is a much more FLOPINSKI favored map on paper. But we're going to have to wait and see. An early break from Milk Tea is going to give FLOPINSKI the advantage, but a double miss, actually, from intercamming and Nows. He's going to flip that now. And all G8 Bros have about 50, 60,000 score in their favor going to this little intro section. But we could see a lot more breaks. We could see a lot more breaks coming in the future.
Actually, this might have been calculated from all G8 Bros. The infamous Takedo Church may be playing a factor in this match right now. It's Sunday morning, Shiva. No. Takedo Church. He may just not be here for the match.
Intercamping
really struggling with this. Same for Gnahu's. Both of them down at 87, 84% accuracy at the moment. Everyone on All G8 Bros has way better act than that. Mind Lanzu will miss. Milk Tea and Karumi both drop there on the top row. Now it's Henry Malashevsky versus no FCs as David drops as well. And even with Taquito Church, it might just not matter for All G8 Bros. Malashevsky will drop, but Henry's still holding the full combo. Henry really popped off this last Corsace closed, and as I start to say anything good about a player, they instantly drop. What is this, man?
That's the pain of just unfortunate commentating timing, right? It is what it is. I mean, it is. You're not wrong though. Henry has made a ginormous improvement in this year. Last year as well, he was an incredible player. But getting third place in Corsace Close is a huge achievement for a guy like him. He's done brilliantly. And with that, having hit someone like him, with Malashevsky joining him as well, the runner-up for Corsace Closed, it's looking good for this team. But looking at this team, it's looking more comfortable here for All G8 Bros. They're still holding on to their advantage. We did say there was a chance for FLOPINSKI to probably come back, knowing the combo from Malashevsky and Henry, but it's looking like the overall supporting combos from All G8 Bros is looking to lean into their advantage going into this final quarter. Milk Tea and David have recovered fantastically here, and it's just Henry trying to match one of the combos, and a double miss from FLOPINSKI could make this a dagger that none of us expected to go into the backs of the #1 seeded team.
Yeah, Lowell 235 and 233. David and Milk Tea still holding strong right now. Henry dropping, and there's all the combos gone for FLOPINSKI. It was not the lyrics debuff, it was the national song buff for All G8 Bros on this one. They will actually take the Nomad 4 against FLOPINSKI. It looked so weird on paper, right? There's so many good low approach rate reading players for FLOPINSKI, but it doesn't matter, as All G8 Bros will prove everyone wrong, win that pick by an extremely convincing 550k 3v4, as long as David is involved there. That is really solid for All G8 Bros, putting the points on the board and making this one actually closer than the 2 versus 7 match we just saw. Seed 8 taking a point off of FLOPINSKI, the #1 seeded team in the tournament.
Can we just make this clear? Not only was this an unexpected win from All G8 Bros, but they won in very dominant fashion. 550,000 score against a team like FLOPINSKI, who have some of the best tournament reading players in the world. And yeah, I think, Dio, if there's one thing we've learned, we should be a little more sugarcoating off of these strange picks, because this is not something that we expected at all. Whether it be the national buff, whether it really do be David and Milk Tea just popping off like we did mention earlier, this happened, and this is a pretty great victory, a pretty great map win for All G8 Bros, but now it's up to FLOPINSKI to get their lead back with their next pick. What do you think is going to be, Dio?
Honestly, not real. Probably the hidden one. Probably the hidden one. If they already won the hidden 2 in this pool, I kind of expect them to pick the hidden one, and there it is.
Yeah.
China AR7, I guess. China AR7 for that Nomad 4. I was so confused, but they proved me wrong. That's for sure. They did it. Very well
Hey,
done.
listen. Let's hope they don't see this clip and put it on Twitter. All right. That's
look, if they put it, that just comes with the role. Okay.
Comes with the job, I guess.
Yeah. The Twitter dunks come with casting. Comes with predict streams, comes with casting, whatever, man. It'd be like that. In one, though, this is a very good pick for FLOPINSKI. It's swing rhythm aim control. 110 BPM, so with swing accounted for, feels more like 165 BPM, if you want to conceive of it that way. But 3/4 rhythm and 110 BPM aim control on this hidden one. Very awkward angles on pretty much everything in this map, and just generally tricky. Unlike the Nomad 4, I don't think this is going to be a win for All G8 Bros. We saw on the hidden 2 an almost 1 million team score gap for FLOPINSKI. Kind of expecting the same to hold true on something like this hidden one.
Yeah, you kind of mentioned it all already, Dio. As you already said, this hidden one being very swing heavy, lots of aim control and space doubles with some weird isolated string stream as well. There is a few patterns here to take note of. There's a giant guitar solo section with some insane levels of spaced flow and some weird sharp turns. It's quite a unique aim control map, and it's very, very aim control heavy. So a team like FLOPINSKI, who have some fantastic control players, now intercamming Henry Malashevsky here, going to completely shred this one. I think they're going to do great on this one. But all G8 bros, they're not going to fall back. They've got a good aim control team as well, Dio. Having Milk Tea, Karumi, David, and Maijalanzu, still not a bad team to be reckoned with, but we did say this team isn't too comfortable with Hidden overall as a comfort mod. And considering that FLOPINSKI have two players who literally unironically pick Hidden for TB, this is a big comfort advantage here for FLOPINSKI going into this intro.
Yeah, this is, like you said, comfort. Maijalanzu already breaking for the side of all G8 bros. Everybody else still holding the combo at the moment, but notable AC lead right now for FLOPINSKI, 99 on Malashevsky, 98 on Henry. And the highest AC for all G8 bros is 97 on Milk Tea right now. Karumi and David both dropping the AC in this section, leading into the first PI time right now, the first intense part of the map. No breaks, though, coming through from anyone during this part.
Going through here, everyone's still looking pretty good. It's just Maijalanzu being the only outlying break here. But it is the accuracy overall here, particularly from Malashevsky holding on to 99.5 and Emery's 98.3, looking very, very good in terms of the comfort here. And they're gaining up to about 100,000 in their favor. But no breaks coming through here going past this first half. It's just that combo from Maijalanzu. But considering the second half gets a lot more difficult, we could see something change very, very soon. And a big foam section there doesn't trip up anybody. We're still awaiting that break, and it's Maijalanzu once again to be the drop for all G8 bros. Now trades it, but it's not really what you want. You want two breaks here for FLOPINSKI if you want to secure that advantage. But Malashevsky, Henry, and intercamming look extremely good past this little big guitar section. And we're going into another guitar section coming very soon as well. The diff spike that's going to be very valuable there. But Karumi is going to be the next to drop. Now FLOPINSKI have a solidified 3-2 FC advantage. And going into this massive level of flow aim here, Dio. A full reset for all G8 bros. And it's camming Malashevsky refuse to give in.
Yeah, those two are pretty good tournament players, it turns out. Malashevsky and intercamming.
Oh, really?
Holding through the solo section there. 2/3 of the way through the map, no troubles whatsoever. Malashevsky on 99.5 AC almost right now. And both of them holding through the stream as well. There's nothing more to say besides what do you do to beat this kind of score? Two-way FC still intact for FLOPINSKI. Was there any ever doubt, after all, that this was the #1 seeded team in the tournament? Intercamming will find a slider break, still on the S rank right now with near 97 AC. It's still 99.4 for Malashevsky, continuing to do Malashevsky things in every team tournament ever, I suppose, as this is just what this guy does. He comes in and he plays incredibly well on any map you give him, and that is a... This is hilarious, by the way. It's 3v4 for FLOPINSKI without Malashevsky. 1.036 million gap between these two teams. They don't even need Malashevsky.
Yeah, legit.
Who needs Malashevsky? Yeah, we don't need that guy.
Wait, that's actually so
disconnect
real.
him. DDoS him right now. Get him out of here. They don't need him.
That
3v4
is so
regardless.
Real. Yeah, literally. Imagine being a team like FLOPINSKI where you're so insanely dominant on your respective maps that your best score is not necessary to beat anyone. It's quite something. And with that, FLOPINSKI managed to get the revenge from that normal 4 and are now 1 point ahead. And with all G8 Bros' next pick, there are a few options here. We could see the Hard Rock 1, we could see the Hard Rock 2, but that's banned. So no thank you. What other maps do you think they could lean into aside from this Hard Rock 1, Dio? Because I'm seeing a few, but I want your thoughts.
Honestly, I don't think this pool is very good for all G8 pros. I think it's really tough for them to pick into other things in this pool, because ideally you'd want to pick something like the Hard Rock 1. And aside from that, you like aim control, but you don't like finger control and speed bursts like on the Nomad 3. So aside from that, all that's really left is this Nomad 2, which is the pick, and the DT1 if you're looking for aim control overall. So I think it's going to be those 3 maps in no particular order for all G8 Bros. It is the Nomad 2 to start with. 185 BPM stream aim control. Lots of cut streams and kind of really high curvature circle streams in this map. Not really any streams that double back on themselves like we saw in the tech stream maps in Pool B, but more so an ever so slightly more conventional version of the Nomad 2 from Pool B, if you're willing to go that far. Longer note chains, so a little bit more of a stamina requirement on this. Not that there is much of one. It's only 185 BPM. And just really, really tricky flow aim throughout this map. There's not a lot of the tech patterns and finger control that you would see in the other Nomad 2 or in the Nomad 4 from Pool C, for example. It's really all about the flow aim and really, really tough to play streams.
Oh, they got rid of the censorship, Dio. We can now see it's called Darkest Night. Let's go. Big win. But yeah, this being picked by Asa, not too surprising. This is still relatively more in the aim control department, so we could still... Oh, wait, no, this is a pick from all G8 Bros. Why does it say that FLOPINSKI picked it? That's a troll. That's a troll. I got trolled. My bad.
You did get trolled.
I did get trolled. But let's still make this clear. This is 185 BPM, so not as stamina heavy, but still 4 minutes long. So there's still a lot you need to do. It's the flow aim that's really a big point here to look over. And all G8 Bros looking decent so far, but as soon as I say that, double miss from David and Maijalanzu. And with that, there are no FCs here for G8 Bros to cover to try and contest the unstoppable 3-way FC from Intercam and Henry Malashevsky. This roster hasn't changed since the last 2 maps, Dio. And it's looking very, very good for this team. Malashevsky, Henry may drop, but Intercam still holds on to the FC. However, the recoveries here from G8 Bros is going to give them the combo advantage, despite that break from Milk Tea.
It's no longer combo advantage, I don't think. Score is pretty well. It's ever so slow. Okay, never mind. Oh, goodbye. Oh, Lord. That's a lot of breaks for all G8 Bros. Just Kurumi standing. He falls as well. And now it's Intercambing left alone, untouched, unmatched for FLOPINSKI on the pick from all G8 Bros. Again, streamer is trolling at the bottom of the screen there, so ignore that. It's not picked by
It is picked by all G8 Bros.
Yeah, this is the pick from Team China, and it's not working out for them. Intercambing will drop, but there's Henry Malashevsky to contend with, and Nahus is still matching the lowest combo from the side of all G8 Bros. 2 misses now as well for David and Maijalanzu. Malashevsky will trade it, but Henry trading there actually does give a little bit of breathing room to all G8 Bros, but it's already a 200,000 score lead, Shiba, and FLOPINSKI have not looked all that uncomfortable on this. Look at the accuracy across the board for them, all in the 98 range.
Yeah, I think despite this team struggling in the combo department, it's kind of warranted with how difficult this map is in the aim control. I mean, you see a few moments where Malashevsky seems to have been hitting it, but a few note locks is what really trips him up. And it is just generally the combo game that FLOPINSKI is struggling a little bit more with. In terms of the comfort and the general accuracy and how the vibe of this map is, it really is a lot more comfortable for the one-seeded superstar team. You still have all G8 Bros trying to put up a fight with some decent recoveries, but they can't seem to get anything major to try and contest the massive combos that FLOPINSKI developed throughout this map. It was first Malashevsky and Henry, then it was Intercambing, then it was Henry again, and now it's back to Intercambing, holding on to that big, big combo, leading the lobby and leading FLOPINSKI to a 300,000 score difference. We're about nearly a quarter of the way left here, and it's looking extremely dire because despite the recoveries here, we're going into another really difficult section, and unless multiple combos from all G8 Bros hold, I don't know if they have enough room to come back here. 300,000 with a quarter of the map left is looking really dire, and David's gonna go down. So does Milk Tea and so does Anzu. It's just Kurumi to hold the fort, but on the side of FLOPINSKI is looking all too dominant. Malashevsky and Naus combined are gonna contest Kurumi, and Henry is left completely alone with that 300 to 400 combo. Finally going up to a bigger section. It's ramping up in difficulty throughout this ending, but it's looking all too dominant here for FLOPINSKI. Nearly 400,000 now in their favor, slowly and slowly extending their lead further and further. We're seeing a lot of breaks going into this ending, Dio, but it's not going to be enough for all G8 Bros. They put up an effort, but it's not going to be enough. FLOPINSKI simply looking way too dominant. Malashevsky and Henry with a great recovery. Now holding on to just under 500 combo is going to be way too strong. A 500,000 score is going to be the difference here. Maybe even a little bit more if Malashevsky can hold throughout the ending. And indeed, he does.
Yeah, 540K for FLOPINSKI on that one. And this is why I said maybe this pool is kind of rough for all G8 bros. Milk Tea, Crystal are not really stream players. Crystal is not even in for this map. And I think it just goes to show how versatile FLOPINSKI is, that kind of difference in pool structure and where the skill sets are located can so heavily influence the outcome of a map. Really, really solid scores from FLOPINSKI in that map. Multiple players up near that 500K mark. And unfortunately for all G8 bros, just not a kind of pick that would work out very well for them. And this is the other skill set that we expected FLOPINSKI to abuse coming into this match is speed. Double Time 2 in this pool is the one speed mechanics map here. 240 BPM burst spam is kind of the name of the game here. Kind of a burst aim hybrid for this map. Probably Neneric to come in for this one. And we're going to get another really good roster for FLOPINSKI on this map, even without Taquito. Enri, Intercambing, Neneric, Malashevsky, Nahus can all play this. I don't think any of them will be out of sorts on a map like this. And unfortunately for all G8 bros, none of their players are really speed players all that much. Joseph Joestar is definitely going to be coming in for this if he is here for this match. He's the usual speed fill on most Chinese World Cup style rosters. And he is actually not in. It's been the same roster every map for all G8 bros, which makes me think maybe Crystal and Joseph Joestar might not be here.
Wow.
Double check that and see if we have even seen Crystal in this match so far. We have not. So neither Crystal nor Joseph Joestar have shown up for any of the maps. So I'm thinking it might just be these four for all G8 bros, with Joseph Joestar not coming in for this.
Not looking good for this Chinese roster on this speed map. You want your signature speed player to be on here, but when you don't, it's looking tough. This DT2 as well, very stamina heavy. It's quite reminiscent of System Sun if you're familiar with that speed map. It was previously used in OWC. Very, very stamina heavy, and quite known as a speed player's favorite map. So players like Neneric are going to absolutely love this map. And despite I say that, he does drop the combo, but it was seemingly a nothing. It doesn't look like he's actually struggling on here. He's looking exceptionally comfortable, 99.64 accuracy. And even with that miss, he's got Enri on his back, holding onto the FC with even a higher accuracy of 99.87. On the side of all G8 bros, though, we're seeing a universal struggle here. Milk Tea's trying to get some combo up, trying to match Enri, but the overall comfort here and the accuracy especially from FLOPINSKI is going to give them a 300, nearly 400,000 lead. Milk Tea may drop, and that's all the big combos gone here for all G8 bros. Enri may drop, but Intercambing Neneric have got his back, and they're holding on strong to 300 combo, leading the lobby and overshadowing anything that all G8 bros throws at them.
I mean, this is kind of how we expected this map to go, right? I think the pop-off score from Milk Tea on this is the more unexpected thing coming out from all G8 bros, 440k, actually beating out both Malashevsky and Neneric at the moment, although Neneric's going to pass that score right now, and also beating out Intercambing. So really good score from Milk Tea on this map. It's just the rest of the team cannot keep up with FLOPINSKI. Not that many teams can on basically any map, so, you know, it was always going to be like this on Speed and on Hidden in particular. That's just how these team compositions match up against each other. And for FLOPINSKI, it means a very easy time abusing Speed on this DT2. Once again, over 1 million team score difference going into the final spinner of the map, and a 4-1 win in the first set.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Same TBH.
He mutes as soon as he says that. Anyway, yeah, valiant effort. Sorry, a valiant effort here from Milk Tea. I think Milk Tea actually recently has done a big improvement in terms of his tapping. Most people would know him as a very strong ult and tech player, very good in the aim control and aim consistency. But this guy recently, especially in this last match, particular, he was a huge push for this team, particularly in the tapping, and having outshined players like Nineric and just barely missing out on outshining Malashevsky is a very good omen for how good this guy is on the tapping, and could be a good omen for OG8 Bros in the future, whether that be in OWC or in future tournaments that this team plays in. Very strong multi on the tapping, and that could give them a small advantage in the future. But FLOPINSKI just generally overall looking a lot better. Unfortunate performance here from Nineric. Of course, when we know Nineric, we know he absolutely loves maps like these, and we maybe expected a full FC. We know he can do better. He's got a way more dominant team on his back and has got the victory for him, taking the first set. And now it's up to OG8 Bros to decide our next pool. But once we know the pick and bans, I think we already know what's going to happen. It's probably going to be Pool A.
Yeah, have to assume it's Pool A. Have to assume they're not picking the pool that they banned out against FLOPINSKI in Pool B. It's Pool B, actually. So maybe both of them banned Pool A in the previous set, and we rolled Pool C. I have to say I'm surprised, because I think Pool A would actually be really good for this Chinese team with... for example, the Nomad 3, Nomad 4 both being really good for them. Hard Rock 1 being a tech map. Hard Rock 2 being this kind of older style aim consistency. And even the Hiddens aren't super terrible for them. Hidden 2 is an insta-ban, but the Hidden 1 is, I think, playable for them as well. And there wouldn't be as much speed. For example, the DT1's only 180 BPM. You'd only have the DT2 to contend with for speed. This Pool B has a lot of raw mechanics, and it's going to be the Nomad 4 Protect for FLOPINSKI alone by Slater. This is the 174 BPM aim control menace that we saw in the previous match between No Title and Rotashaw, the last map of the match. Kind of expecting it to be a Nomad 3 ban from OG8 Bros, and maybe something like the Hard Rock 1 Protect. Hard Rock 2 is also good as a Protect. It's actually the Nomad 2 Protect this time around. Those are two very similar maps in how they play, so I'm a little surprised to see the Nomad 2 as a Protect here for OG8 Bros. We'll see how the Nomad 2 ends up working out for them. It is going to be the Hard Rock 2 ban for FLOPINSKI, so sticking with banning the Hard Rock against the full Chinese squad. And now for OG8 Bros, I'm expecting some kind of DT ban or the Hidden 2 ban. One of the two. Or maybe Nomad 3. Nomad 3 is also speed.
Yeah, it entirely depends on how OG8 Bros are feeling right now. I mean, I think they're going to go for the Hidden because, to be honest, after seeing a decent fight from Milk Tea on the previous Double Time 2 that we saw in the last set, I think they're looking maybe potentially a little bit more comfortable despite lacking Joseph Joestar. And if there's anything, their mindset here with their bans is probably going to be which one are we going to lose the hardest on? Not necessarily which ones do we want to keep, because we know we're going to win them. Because having no Joseph Joestar on speed is a really big detriment. But when you got Milk Tea and compare those statistics to potentially what could happen on Hidden 1, I think Hidden 1's a good ban here. Hidden 2 is also a very good potential one. I mean, I'm not sure why they immediately eliminated the reading. But we're going to go into our first pick straight away here, Dion. For the first time in a little while, we haven't seen an Insta Protect pick go through, and it's going to be the Nomad 1 here for OG8 Bros. The pan aim focused jumps with lots of build-ups, and Kiai is particularly having really difficult patterns. This is quite a slightly unique take on the Nomad 1. Not too drastically different, but very pattern aim heavy.
Yeah, a little awkward, a little bit polygon focused with the pattern aim, but generally relatively mixed between comfortable and uncomfortable jumps in this map. A little bit higher BPM, also about 220, 225 BPM. There were pretty good scores for OG8 Bros on this map when they played it yesterday. We saw 700k from Milk Tea, 500k from Crystal, and mid 400ks for both Karumi and David on this map. So it was a relatively good set of scores for them. The only concern is whether Crystal is here to try and replicate that 500k score or not, because we have not seen Crystal yet for this squad, and he is not in for it. It is My Angel Anzu once again. And so I have to think Crystal and Joseph Joestar just are not here for this match. FLOPINSKI, however, did not play a match yesterday. They won by forfeit. so no point of comparison for all G8 Bros to go off when making these picks. It's all just based on comfort from yesterday, with a couple of early breaks here for Enri and Kurumi to start us out in the Nomad 1. Set number 2, Flopinski up 1-0 in the set score, looking to close it out 2-0. All G8 Bros looking to take us to a third set.
Going into this Nomad 1, the first map of this new set here, MyAngel Anzu and Kurumi going to be the first to drop here for all G8 Bros. And despite a very early break from Enri, he's looking very good on the recovery, and it's Camping being the only recent drop here for Flopinski. Very, very even so far, Dio. Relatively close here, but it's still advantage here for Flopinski. And going into that massive jump section, no drops come through. So going into this first TI here, we could see some drops, but that major jump section could show that this could be a pretty close map, as long as there's no major collapse here. Malashevsky in particular being the bigger look here, because he's got 100% accuracy, and I don't care if I curse him. That's still a great thing to have. 100% is always going to be a huge benefactor for your team, especially if you hold it as long as possible. It's going to keep that score elevated for you despite the combo drops here. Another drop from MyAngel Anzu is going to solidify the advantage for Flopinski, securing 100,000 in their favor.
Yeah, and it's 2 full combos to 2, but Enri's combo is pretty huge. There goes Intercambing, so combo is mostly even out at this point. Ever so slight score advantage continuing to grow for Flopinski. I think mostly based off the ACK, like you said, SS for Malashevsky. High 99s for everyone on their side, aside from Intercamping. There goes Malashevsky. It's traded with Milk Tea and MyAngel Anzu and David, and there goes all of the combos for all G8 Bros. And there goes any hope they might have had of winning this map, as Nahus is still on the full combo with very high accuracy. Enri on the reverse choke with near 99.6, and already a 230,000 score lead for Flopinski. Enri will drop a couple of times here, and there is good combo on Kurumi, excuse me. So if Nahus drops soon, there could be a chance for all G8 Bros to win this. But it's gonna take a lot for that to happen.
It's looking
Nahus
really
is a
tough.
very, very good aim player.
It's looking really, really tough. And if there's one player that you expect for Flopinski to do extremely well on this here, it is the one and only Nahus. And despite a valiant effort though here from Kurumi, I do see a reality here where all G8 Bros could have came back on this, but there are too many breaks from MyAngel Anzu and David to get the comeback needed. And with that drop from Kurumi, the penny's been dropped and everything is sealed for all G8 Bros on this first map. Now holding on to the FC with absolutely fabulous accuracy. Malashevsky and Enri has got us back into Camping may drop, but it's nothing going to be too valuable here. Flopinski looking really, really dominant on this fast map and are most likely to take this breakpoint.
Yeah, Nahus to close out the full combo potentially here. And there it is. FC for Nahus, as long as he doesn't shit miss the ending there. There we go. He will finish out with the full combo. 99.6% accuracy for him, 7 100s. And yeah, basically a full team gap. It's only Intercambing matching up with the score from MyAngel Anzu on the side of all G8 Bros. But Enri, Malashevsky, and Nahus all with better scores than Milk Tea, who was the highest scorer on the side of all G8 Bros. So 500,000 score lead on that Nomad 1, and that is the first pick for all G8 Bros. And unfortunately, not a good first pick for them. Aim consistency is something that this team, I think, traditionally is pretty good at as well. And unfortunately, they're just not going to be able to win out against Flopinski on this one. As now it's the first pick for Flopinski. They can go for their Protect. They can go for something like the Nomad 3 in this pool. They can go for Speed. They can go for the Hidden 2 as well. That's also still open. World is their oyster, and they're going to pick the Pearl that they've enclosed off for themselves. It's the Nomad 4 coming out once again. We saw this in the previous match. We've seen it throughout the weekend already. It is ungodly difficult aim control at 175 BPM, extremely high spacing, extremely difficult to read patterns that overlap on top of themselves with unconventional cursor movement, to say the least.
Yeah.
Extremely tricky map, and it's something that I think all G8 Bros should be relatively good on, unfortunately for them, they're matched up against FLOPINSKI, who are one of the best teams at this kind of thing.
Yeah, to be honest, Dio, if they were against any other team, this could have been a lot more possible. Even teams like Titan Hollow, I could have maybe seen this team performing well on. But against a team like FLOPINSKI, these guys are so ungodly on aim control and just so well versed. It's looking pretty dire here for OG Bros on this map. But we are early days, Dio. Early days. We see a few breaks here. 2 breaks from Henry, now it's for FLOPINSKI. And on the side of OG Bros, despite an early break from Milk Tea and Lanzu, they've recovered swiftly. And we're going into this first KI. Major aim control requirements, as you can see. The highest score performed on this map yesterday was, not yesterday, last game actually, Dio, was from Worst HR Player with 600k. Are we going to see any major improvements? So far, so good from Malashevsky. He's still holding on. It's Cammy may drop. But the only major combo for FLOPINSKI still holds strong, and Milk Tea joins him in holding on to that full hold on the Ki. It may not be an FC for Milk Tea, but still a very, very good combo. FLOPINSKI holding on to about 200,000 score in their favor at the moment, and it's only really up to Milk Tea to try and contest Malashevsky. But even then, the recoveries here from FLOPINSKI are going to be difficult to come back from. It's going to be a steep hill to climb for this team.
As long as Milk Tea holds, there's still a chance at a win on this map. It's a little...
Oh,
okay,
there it goes.
Goodbye. Alright, well, I said the magic words. Goodbye, Milk Tea. Goodbye, everyone on OG Bros. Nahu's full trade, but it really just doesn't matter. Full combo intact for Malashevsky. Intercamping misses. Henry still has combo as well, even if Malashevsky drops right now. 99.4 accuracy for Malashevsky with combo intact. FC still going strong during the slow quote-unquote slow section. There's still hard patterns in this part as well, as you can plainly tell by the spacing changes throughout these streams and the wiggles that you have to be able to hit. He's already well past 600k Shiva, 99.5 ACK on the full combo, still going.
This is not a fair score from Malashevsky. Like, not a fair score at all. This is absolutely absurd. This map is extremely brutal, and when you have players like Badu known to struggle on a map like this, that's how you know this map is freakishly difficult. And the big question here now is, will Malashevsky hold on to the FC? He's looking really comfortable, and we know how good he is on these aim control maps. So unfortunately for him, he's going to drop the FC. But regardless of that, Dio, 800,000 score is absolutely absurd, especially considering that your next highest score is 200,000 score behind you. Malashevsky, in extremely dominant fashion, will show off immensely. And FLOPINSKI, with about 850,000 score ahead of them, a mile away, a whole nation away, basically, are gonna shred this map.
Shiva, they did it again. Even without Malashevsky, they still win the points. Even without Malashevsky, that's still a win for FLOPINSKI. Malashevsky more than double the next highest score in the lobby from Lolo233. And it does not matter at all whether they have him or not for that map. They still win.
Bro, whether or not you have Malashevsky, if you had Malashevsky on his own, he 1v3s. Dude. On this map, dude, what?
Yeah, that was a pretty alright score. Yeah, it was okay.
Yeah, that's alright. Just a typical score from this guy. You know, he's only one of, if not the GOAT of tournaments, you know, it's not a big deal. Just walk in the park for that guy. Yeah, it's it's crazy. It's crazy stuff. I mean, that's how, when you have some of the best tournament players of all time, let alone in the wild at this era, it's a tough ask for OG Bros to try and come back from this. But number 2, regardless, their protected pick is going to be what's up next, Dio. Very tech streamy number 2.
Yeah, man, I don't like this protect. After the Nomad 4, I just... they're so similar. They're so similar in how they play. I feel like it's very odd to protect this after the Nomad 4 protect comes out, but this one is relatively easier compared to the Nomad 4. It is a little higher BPM also. It's 180 BPM. The patterns are not quite as ridiculous on this map as they are on the Nomad 4. It is still aim control focused. It is still tech stream focused. So it is still going to be a tough win for all G8 Bros on this kind of map. But it is something that I think they're going to be pretty solid on regardless. The Lolols and My Angel Anzu should be able to put up a pretty good fight on a map like this, despite what we saw on the Nomad 4. Again, I think this team is really good at being consistent on this type of stuff below like your finals, grand finals type of pools, right? Team China OWC is not a team that typically makes it past like top 12-ish, which is semifinals. And that kind of level is where a lot of their players start to have trouble with overall pool scaling and difficulty. So I think a less difficult map like this is potentially going to be really solid for them. That said, with how similar this is to the Nomad 4, you're expecting a lot of players on the side of FLOPINSKI to pop off and match a lot of the scores coming out from all G8 Bros. It's early trades between Kurumi and Neneric. My Angel Anzu also going to find the drop for all G8 Bros, but many combos still intact.
Yeah, it's looking good for FLOPINSKI just by a little bit. Malashevsky is going to be the next one to drop here, but it is traded by 2 from all G8 Bros. It is all up to Milk Tea now to hold on. Once again, this guy has definitely been the MVP for this Chinese roster, holding on to the combo when the team needs it the most. But unfortunately, it's a team like FLOPINSKI and against players like into Kambing, who is keeping him at bay and letting the recoveries here of Malashevsky, Ninok, and Emery just fight back. It's looking pretty dire for all G8 Bros in this first half here. And another double miss going this big difficulty wrap-up section. It's Kambing does trade one of them, but it is a 3-miss to 1 difference here for FLOPINSKI in their favor. Emery finally drops towards the ending, but it's not going to be enough. It is all up to Milk Tea now for all G8 Bros. He's the only man with the combo that could get this victory, but he's going to have to pray for a big collapse here from FLOPINSKI going up to this next KI, and that's going to hope that's including if he holds on, because this map is looking really tough. And when you know players like Malashevsky can't hold on to the FC, that's how you know this is tough. So it's an important part here for Milk Tea to hold on to here. There's still a small chance for all G8 Bros to potentially come back, but that's all on the back of Lol 233. Can Malashevsky fight back? It seems so. There are no drops here from FLOPINSKI. Nenok drops it, Kambing does drop, but Emery and Malashevsky still hold on. A good recovery here from David as well, giving a good supporting combo here, keeping Emery at arm's reach. Lolo has an opportunity now to flip it. Kurumi and Anzu drop into Kambing and Neneric holding on to a good recovery. But does Kurumi have enough time? I don't think so. It's the general accuracy and the overall comfort. It's the full team difference here, Dio. The struggle from Anzu and Kurumi is going to hugely push back what Milk Tea could have done. An FC from Milk Tea is not going to be enough to take down this super team.
Yeah, this is the missing players diff coming in hot for all G8 Bros right now. You have Crystal for that. I think it goes a lot better than it just did. FC for Milk Tea, 500k for David, but double 200k for Kurumi and My Angel Anzu makes it unwinnable, unfortunately, for all G8 Bros. 200,000 score lead for FLOPINSKI on that, with the lowest score at 400k from Neneric. Still a very good score on that map. And you have multiple 500ks and almost 700k from Malashevsky on that map as well. It's a tough place to be for all G8 Bros, and they go with the protected pick. It was closer than the Nomad 4, that's for sure, but still not a win, unfortunately. And the style of map just very similar to the Nomad 4, still a win at the end of the day for FLOPINSKI. Now up 3-0, set point, match point, looking to eliminate all G8 Bros from the tournament and advance on into the semifinals. And they've got pick of the litter for remaining maps in this pool. If you want to go with more aim control, there's still some of that left open. If you want to go with low approach rate reading, there's the hidden 2 left open. If you want to go with speed mechanics, there's 3 of them, in fact, in this pool. But it's going to be the Hard Rock 1. Picking Hard Rock into a full Chinese roster is not normally something you want to do. But this is a tech map, just straight up tech. And there's a lot of very good tech players on the side of FLOPINSKI who can pop off on something like this. It's not like It's not your Halgo Sharu, Neil Perry style tech. It is a little bit more accessible than that, but it is hard rock tech nonetheless, which is always very, very hard to deal with.
Yeah, I wouldn't really consider this like straight up tech. I'd more consider this hard rock aim with tech like kind of sprinkled on top, with a few tech elements applied, like the weird sliders and a few of the pattern styles being attributed to tech. But most of it is hard rock aim. Most hard rock players, most aim players generally are going to be quite comfortable on this. You don't really need to be a tech player to perform well on this. There are a few tech aspects where maybe the tech cover could help out, but overall, as long as you're good in the aim, you're good. You'll be fine. And it's a bold pick here for FLOPINSKI on their match point, but it's safe to say as a team against FLOPINSKI, anything really can be viable here. And no crystal for UG8 Bros is just an even tougher omen here. Nothing you can really do when you're missing your star hard rock player. Here we go. Big intro section coming through. Intercamming does find a break. Mind you, Anzu break very, very early on, and he breaks once again. That's the combo gone. David joins him, and Nineric as well. Henry and Malashevsky against Milk Tea and Kurumi for this early FC combo. Again, very early days, and we haven't even gone up to the big Ki yet. There's a big jump change to come through, but no major drops from the two combos that you're hoping for. Is looking very even, but the comfort overall and the supporting combo from Intercamming in particular is giving FLOPINSKI that tiny, near 50,000 lead.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie, I got by the fact that there are 3 pools again. I was thinking about Hard Rock 1 and Pool A instead of Pool B when I was talking about it being a tech map. Definitely mostly aim, but still tech focused. Slider break for Kurumi, by the way, at the end of that Ki time, right before the break. So the only combo left for all G8 Bros is on Milk Tea once again. David's on a good recovered combo, and the score lead is not that big right now. There's not as much of an accuracy lead as there has been on previous maps. There goes David and My Angel Anzu, though. So Milk Tea left completely alone at this point. No recovered combos, no supporting combos for Milk Tea. It's him versus the world. With 2 full combos still intact for FLOPINSKI, Milk Tea is struggling to become Atlas right now.
Big finger control section to come through, hit by Milk Tea with the big combo, but there's nothing this guy can do. It is once again, Dio, that we're seeing Milk Tea put his heart on this team. He's trying so hard to get the combo. Multiple times we've seen this guy hold on to the FC that he so desperately needs for his team. He may finally drop, and with a valiant effort, unfortunately, gonna be going in vain because Henry and Malashevsky are on a tear. A double miss from FLOPINSKI on Nineric and Intercamming, but it's not the 2 breaks that you are looking for if you're all G8 Bros. With a full reset from the Chinese roster, it's safe to say that the fate is very soon to be sealed. Malashevsky and Henry are looking immovable.
Yeah, what do you do? You know?
What do you do?
Missing players up against the first seed in the tournament, and it's not quite the double 4-0 sweep, but it's as close as it gets. 4-1 in the first set, 4-0 in the second set. Well over an 800,000 score lead by the end of this map. Maybe over a million team score difference if Malashevsky and Henry continue the tear that they're on right now. Both still on full combos. A bit of missed slider ends for Henry, a bit of act drops for Henry, making the score lower, but still a 2-way full combo. There goes Henry on a slider break. And it's just Malashevsky to potentially finish out the full combo here for FLOPINSKI at the end of this map. Close out the match completely cleanly. 4-0 in the second set, 4-1 in the first set. And top 4 secured for FLOPINSKI, as if there was ever any doubt that the first seed would make it there. Into the semifinals they go, and out of the tournament, all G8 Bros go. Thank you for playing. But that is the last we will see of the full Chinese squad here in the Corsace Open, as FLOPINSKI 2-0 them, making it into the semifinals.
Unfortunately, when you're faced up against a team like FLOPINSKI, there really isn't much you can do. But all G8 Bros put up a good shot throughout this entire tournament run, getting top 8, just slipping into the top 8, into the higher echelon of the qualifying results, and putting up a great performance in their first match. But after that, having to go up against a team like FLOPINSKI while missing 2 great players is just too dire and too tough. There really is nothing you can do. And especially despite the effort from Milk Tea, there really isn't anything you can do. FLOPINSKI will be the ones to advance into the next stage.